What's happening, guys? Um, Disregard what happens here. We start the match in a couple seconds. I don't know why, but today or yesterday or whatever, West Ham United promoted Sam Allardyce to the managerial position over and to the newly relegated West Ham Hammers. Um, Now I didn't really see him on the radar. I heard a couple names, but he wasn't a name I heard about until he signed a contract or was signed or whatever. He wasn't a name I was told about. He wasn't a name I was thinking about. It was just a name that didn't pop up. But then again, his name, now that you hear it, makes perfect sense to a team such as West Ham. Throughout his career, he's been working with relegated teams and such, bringing them up. The Bolton team, I chose Bolton for a reason. Bolton is a team that was championship level before he showed up, and he had 8 successful years. He brought them up to the Premier League, and since he's brought them up to the Premier League, they've been Europe challengers almost every year. They've been consistent under him, and they were a team that could thrive under the way he worked things. And then he eventually stopped. He worked there 10 years, I believe it was. He was there for 10 years. He left as his contract ran out after 10 years. And I don't know where he got his new job, but I want to talk about the job he had at Blackburn. Earlier in the year, this year, he had a job. He had the job at Blackburn, and before the January transfer window, Blackburn had fired him. And when Blackburn fired him, it was one of those things where everybody kind of looked around and went, "Why did that just happen?" You know, they weren't bottom. They weren't near bottom. They were doing pretty well for themselves. I don't know the number or the placement, but there was no reason for his sack at all. I mean, it just happened, like out of nowhere. Like, who was it? The assistant manager, I think, of Chelsea. Like, I don't know what he did. He was fired earlier in the year, and I don't know what he did. He didn't do anything. I mean, they were first, I believe, when he got fired, first or second, but there was just no reason for his firing and Allardyce's firing over a Blackburn. And I think West Ham are the perfect job for him. I think given time, he can bring them back up, and I think he will bring them back up if he's there for 3 years. I think it'll take 2-3 years to bring West Ham back up, considering the players they're about to lose and whatnot. But I think he's the right man for this position, and I think that I think he'll do a good job there. I know he's got to deal with the problems that they have with selling all these players. Parker, Carlton Cole, Dembaba, all these players that they've got to sell. They're going to sell, or people are going to buy. But I think he can do a good job there. And I think in 2-3 years they'll be right back up in the Premier League with everybody where they were for the last couple of years now. He's that job he did at Bolton is just like the job he's getting at West Ham right now. Championship team, and he has the means, I guess, to bring them back up. He's gonna have the money, obviously, from all these players they're gonna sell. He can have the money, and I think he'll be able to bring them back up. But if he were does bring it. I don't know the years or how long he's signed for, but if he's done something like he's done at Bolton, I don't think he did something quite for that long. But I think if he were to stick, I think if he's gonna stick with Bolton, I mean not Bolton, if he's gonna stick with West Ham for a good 5-6 years, then I think West Ham are when he leaves or when that 5-6 year mark comes around, I think they're gonna be a pretty solid. Personally, I think that's where they'll be. I think 10th, 11th. I mean, I guess depending on who you are, that's pretty solid. I think if you're averaging 10th or 11th place every year, and I think um, being halfway up the table, I think he can do that. I think he can bring West Ham back up to where he is, and I have all the confidence in the world with this guy. I'm not a West Ham fan. Some of you may know, but sometimes you gotta look at what people have done, and you gotta think realistic. And realistically, I think he can do it. Doesn't necessarily mean he will. Doesn't necessarily mean he's gonna bring him back up. Doesn't necessarily mean he'll be there for too long. I just think that he can do it, and I think he's just the guy to do it. And I think if they were to come back up, and I think if he's there and he's set a foundation, I think West Ham will be there for a while, and they'll take a long shot to bring them back down. I think after he leaves and he's got himself a set place and they hire a new manager, and it's one of those managers who can stick around, and it's one of those managers who can help build from where they are, 10th, 11th place, if they get there, and hell, West Ham can be there for a very long while. But as this video winds down, Sam Allardyce, new West Ham manager, and maybe he can bring the Hammers back up. So peace, guys.